At the start of the movie, three teenagers named Herbert, Augie, and Hannah, who fancy themselves as young astronauts, bike through the woods in a small English town searching for a meteorite that Hannah believes she heard land on Earth. The group loses track of time as they meticulously search for any unusual signs in the woods, playfully teasing each other and having fun. Eventually, they conclude that there is nothing to be found and head home late, promising to meet early the next morning. The following morning, Augie and Hannah visit Herbert's house to set off on their exploration for the day. Herbert's mother, Ellie, prepares breakfast, and as they gather to eat, she mentions the news reports about a meteorite landing in the local woods earlier that morning. Before she can finish her question, the kids leap from their chairs in excitement and rush out the door. They bike to the woods, where they find the area cordoned off by police and crowded with locals eager to see the meteorite. Sneaking through the woods to bypass the police tape, they find themselves next to the meteorite, only to discover that it's not a meteorite at all but a metallic vessel. As they examine it, the vessel opens, revealing a creature with appendages extending from all sides, which it uses to stand and elevate its view. The kids are stunned, but their amazement is interrupted by police who demand to know who they are and how they got there. The kids attempt to flee, but an officer apprehends them. To avoid being charged with trespassing, Hannah tells the officer that they are university students sent by their professor, Dr. Stint, a renowned scientist specializing in extraterrestrial beings, to study and report on the vessel. After detailing what they saw inside, the officer lets them go with a warning. The trio rushes out of the woods, only to be distracted by a commotion behind them. They see the alien creature using its elevated position to move around and fire at people with heat ray guns, causing chaos as the town erupts in panic. Seeking safety, the kids bike to Herbert's house to plan their next move. As they reach town, they see rays heading towards the woods, indicating more vessel landings, followed by explosions. Military choppers swarm the area, responding to the landings. At Herbert's house, they turn on the TV to hear Dr. Stint and other experts admit that it's unclear what the Martian creatures want or what they're capable of, advising everyone to stay put and monitor developments via TV and radio. Soon, the country's satellites are compromised, causing TV and phones to stop working. The friends decide to stay at Herbert's house until they hear more or decide on their next move. A few hours later, exhausted from the day's events, they fall asleep. Hannah wakes to notice movement in the backyard and alerts the boys. They investigate and find an exhausted, battered soldier emerging from the bushes. The soldier introduces himself as Lieutenant Ben Baxter and asks for a place to rest. The group welcomes him in, and Lieutenant Ben reveals that the tripod aliens wiped out his entire unit in town. He survived purely by chance when he fell into a ditch, avoiding the heat ray guns that decimated his comrades. Clearly shaken, Lieutenant Ben takes some time to compose himself before washing up and resting. The kids ask if they should move to a safer location or stay put and wait for the military. Lieutenant Ben advises them to leave, as the military currently cannot contend with the aliens. He offers to contact fellow soldiers at the command post for guidance. Herbert provides an old walkie-talkie since all satellites are down, and Lieutenant Ben uses it to reach Lieutenant Fred at the command post, who urges them to move quickly as the aliens are advancing closer to the town. Lieutenant Fred also advises them to avoid petrol vehicles as the aliens are drawn to and alerted by the exhaust fumes. Lieutenant Ben offers to escort the kids to Weybridge so that he can join other military units, allowing the kids to safely move to the neighboring town. As Lieutenant Ben and the kids begin their journey on a bike, they are startled to see an alien attacking houses on the next block just after leaving Herbert's house. They thank their lucky stars for escaping just in time and pedal away from the unfolding chaos. After traveling some distance, the group arrives in Weybridge where Lieutenant Ben meets with fellow officers. He learns that it is no longer safe for the kids to go to the neighboring town due to the rapid progress of the alien attack. Consequently, Lieutenant Ben arranges for them to head to London, where there have been no reported alien sightings. They continue their journey and reach an army base a few miles later, where many civilians are waiting to register for a spot on a boat to London. Lieutenant Ben manages to secure a place on the boat solely for the kids and instructs them to board and wait while he gathers some essential equipment. Unexpectedly, a tripod alien appears, unleashing its heat ray guns and causing chaos. The military responds quickly, neutralizing the alien on the spot. The desperate civilians cheer at this victory, only to be horrified as multiple tripod aliens arrive and overwhelm the military. Amid the ensuing panic, people, including the kids, scatter in all directions while screaming. Unfortunately, Hannah falls and hits her head, losing consciousness. Herbert and Ogie keep her safe until she regains consciousness later that night. They explain what happened, and the trio resumes their journey. They head to the river to check if the boat Lieutenant Ben arranged is still there and are relieved to find it. They board the boat and proceed to the next town. Upon disembarking, they continue searching for a way through the woods and encounter an old man. They request his help, and he takes them to his nearby house, revealing that he is a vicar. As the night progresses, the kids become uneasy, realizing that the old vicar is psychotic and terrified. They thank him for his hospitality and attempt to leave, but he holds them at knife point, forcing them to stay the night. While the vicar sleeps, Herbert seizes the opportunity to find a way out but is startled when he sees the alien using its appendages to pick up humans through the window. The old man abruptly wakes, screaming threats at the boys, and charges towards them. The alien, hearing the vicar's noise, breaks through the window, grabs the man, and takes him away. Shocked, the kids flee from the room and hide. The alien searches the house for more humans but narrowly misses them and eventually leaves. The kids spend the rest of the night in hiding and, at dawn, receive a transmission from Lieutenant Ben via walkie-talkie. He updates them on his location, and they set out to meet him. They walk for a while and eventually find the woods described by the old vicar. There, they come across Lieutenant Ben camped out alone. Excited to see him, the group discusses their next move. Lieutenant Ben informs them that heading to London is no longer an option as there have been multiple alien landings there, and the civilians who were taken have been transported to Belgium. He adds that the aliens have ceased using their heat guns for killing and are now focused on collecting humans. The group splits into two factions. Herbert and Hannah propose going to London anyway to investigate what the aliens want and why they have turned to collecting humans, while Augie and Lieutenant Ben argue that they should stay hidden to survive the disaster. Herbert and Hannah manage to persuade the lieutenant to head to London, and Augie, though initially opposed, is outvoted and joins them. Upon reaching London, they are shocked by the devastated capital, which has been overtaken by aliens with no humans in sight. They move closer and observe that the aliens seem to be concentrated in one area, repeatedly circling it. Herbert and Hannah decide to investigate this area while Augie and Lieutenant Ben stay behind to keep watch. Herbert and Hannah discover that the aliens have established a feeding circuit where tripods collect humans and place them in the circuit to be processed and fed to the new generation of tripods. As Herbert and Hannah prepare to return, they witness an alien capturing Augie. They immediately alert Lieutenant Ben, who is relocated to a better vantage point. Desperate to help, Lieutenant Ben starts shooting at the alien to distract it, succeeding in drawing its attention. The alien turns around and picks up the lieutenant as well. Lieutenant Ben detonates a bomb, causing the alien to drop Augie and disintegrate, resulting in the lieutenant's death. Herbert and Hannah find Augie unharmed and the three of them flee to the outskirts of the city. They discover an underground entry into a sewer and take refuge there to buy time and plan their next steps. Instead of coming together to devise a plan, the group begins to fight among themselves for the first time due to the stress and exhaustion they've endured. Hannah calms everyone down, reminding them that they are on the same team. They agree to spend the night in the sewers. The next morning, they wake to an unusual silence. The shooting and explosions have ceased, and they cautiously emerge to find all the aliens seemingly passed out throughout the city, with no humans in sight. Initially suspecting a trap, they probe the aliens from a distance and confirm that they are indeed dead and that the feeding circuit has shut down. They are puzzled by the cause of this outcome but continue to search the city for answers. Soon, Dr. Stin arrives with a couple of soldiers. The kids run to her for an explanation. Dr. Stint reveals that although the aliens were able to defeat the highly equipped military forces, they could not handle the microorganisms that coexist with humans. She explains that the aliens were exposed to bacteria in the air and while feeding on humans, which led to fatal infections. The kids are amazed and excited at the prospect of returning to normal life. Herbert receives a call from a commander in Belgium informing him that Ellie is safe and will soon be transported back to her home. Everyone is relieved by the good news, and the young adventurers celebrate with hugs and jumps. As the film closes, a voice thanks the microorganisms of the world for saving humanity, acknowledging its failure to defend itself.